Hey folks, Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with AstrologyMojo, and I want to help you get your mojo back. So, what are we doing today? Well, I thought in the next couple of weeks that we could cover the basics again about astrology and what the planets mean and what they symbolize, because as you know, if you know me, you know that I say that the planets don't do anything to us. We live in a cooperation with the cosmos. So when the planets make a move, we feel it. And the aspects and angles in astrology basically determine what you're doing with your energy, what choices you're making or not making, what your potential is, what your challenges are that you have created. Own it. Own your stuff. Be empowered because you are a sentient, eternal, celestial being. Need I say more? Well, apparently, yes, because I keep coming back. All right. So today we're going to be talking about what Mercury, the planet Mercury, represents and what it means in each of the astrological signs. So let's see. All right. Let me just start with. Let me start with this. Okay. Looky here now. Isn't that cool? I just threw this together in Canva this morning because I couldn't find, and you'll see that. All right, you'll see that. And typically in an astrological chart, we go counterclockwise from the horizon. And this would be Taurus. I'm sorry, this would be Aries, Gemini. And I'm not drunk. I don't drink alcohol. Aries. But you know what? I have a Mercury in Aries. And this is how we talk. So Aries, Taurus, Gemini, etc., counterclockwise around the wheel. The image I only found this morning was opposite. So we're just going to work with it. Okay, great. Thanks. Come say hello to me. And you might be watching this in a replay on YouTube or on Facebook. I know I've neglected the YouTube thing, but it's starting to grow. And as I am growing. Okay, cool. So now let's talk about what Mercury represents. Listen up, muggles. Okay, if you're new to astrology, if you're already adept at astrology or you have a basic idea of what's going on, and some of my students who might show up will say, yeah, this is cool. There's always more definitions because as we change, so do the definitions in astrology. You know, the sixth house in astrology, guided by Virgo, used to mean slaves. I know that's even hard to say, but it doesn't now. Now it's about health and work, etc. So when I talk about astrology, please understand that you may join me in the middle of a conversation and have your own concepts and ideas or perceptions of what Mercury is, and that's what astrology is. And it all starts with Mercury. Mercury is the planet that is the closest to our star, the sun, and it represents quick wit. It represents perceptions that become beliefs that create the neurons and the synapses that create the vibrational frequency that you output. And that's how you express. That's communication. If I say the word communication to someone, to anyone, and I will ask, what's your definition of communication? And they'll say, oh, it's, it's talking. It's Scott. It's not. It's not. It's your perception, and your perception is creating your belief system. Oh, every time it rains and I go out, I slip and I fall, so I'm not going to go out if it rains, or I'll walk like an old person, or an Egyptian. These songs pop into my head all the time, Mercury and Aries. But what Mercury ultimately helps you to understand in your chart is not just the sign that it's in, which we're going to talk about, but the placement that it's in any of the houses. That we're not getting into that part today because I couldn't find, I had to piece this together. These are 6 different images right here in Canva. But anyway, thanks for being here. Oh, by the way, tomorrow, this is my solar return today, which means when the sun returns to your original position of your birth. Tomorrow, May 3rd, is my actual birthday. I will be 64, but today is my solar return, and I am sharing it with you. A hottie! Hooray! Yay! Come say hello to me, folks. All right, here we go. I'm just going to grab my striker and my 963 240.75 hertz. Let's bring it down so we can get it out. All right. Mercury, the planet of communication. Yes, but first we know perceptions. It's about perceptions. Mercury in Aries. Now, if you know your chart, great. If not, I will post a link about going to our site, which we're still working on. We have a lot of links to reconnect and such and update it. But you can go to AstrologyMojo, but it's not been updated, except there's a software you can get a chart for free, not a natal reading, but a chart. And you can see where Mercury is in your chart. I have a Mercury in Aries. I just gave you a whole 5 minutes on what that sounds like. Random, off the top, quick wit, gotta sing, gotta dance, gotta think of something, and interrupts. Mercury in Aries likes to interrupt, only because they're so excited. Let's hold hands and skip. Oh my gosh, I just met you. You're amazing. You want to go on vacation with us? It's like sometimes, because of the Aries energy, is childlike. Now, sometimes it can get very abruptly stubborn, like a ram going, this is what it is. This is what it is. This is what I'm telling you. So Mercury and Aries, even though they are sharp and quick-witted, sometimes there is a tendency to interrupt to get there faster. And why are we talking about Mercury through the signs? If you know what your Mercury is and you can own it, or you are familiar with other people's charts and they do not have a Mercury in Aries, but you know what all the definitions are, you can communicate to them in their language. And that helps people get along. I am first and foremost a connector and a nurturer. And I like to disseminate information without judgment so that we can all get along. Because remember, folks, I was you yesterday, I am you today, or I will be you tomorrow. So we move from judgment into evaluation. And this is the level of understanding that a person with a Mercury in Aries can be very childlike, or sometimes they can be childish. But once they move into let me think about that. And then I'm going to act on it. They move into a place of understanding the let's hold hands and skip part on a new level. Let's not judge. Let's evaluate. Oh, what do you need right now? Not this is what you need right now. Do you see the difference? There is a distinction. Mercury in Aries might be someone who, like me, used to be called a sledgehammer because I would just tell people what I saw without asking if they wanted that information. And I might still do that, but I've learned to tamp it down a bit and listen more. So Mercury in Aries is someone who can get scattered easily if they're not grounded. So do be careful of that if that's you. Kimberly, wonder-tastical fantabulous birthday. Thank you. This is how we do it. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Taurus, Mercury in Taurus. And it's so, and it was the word antithetical. I want to go counterclockwise, but I can't because this image goes clockwise. That's all right. We can learn to grow. We can work with it. Oh, someone has a Mercury in Cancer. Okay, well, wait till I get there. And I'm surprised that you are sharing so much with me right now. All right, Mercury in Taurus. We are faced with values and security. What's the thinking that gets us to the place where we can say, no, no, I don't think that fits into yeah. It could be very narrow focused, Mercury and Taurus. It can be very methodical because ultimately a person with Mercury and Taurus is looking for the value of the information. What are you saying? I'm sorry, I don't follow. But now that I do, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, okay. I like that. I'm going to research that some more, or I'm going to talk about that some more. So a person with a Mercury in Taurus turns down the volume from Mercury in Aries, which is like high frenetic energy, to I really need to explore that. And if it can make me money, if a thought can make me money, that's where I want to go. So sometimes the downside of a person, oopsie, I'm so sorry. I have to find the image. Okay, so sometimes the downside of a person with Mercury in Taurus, excuse me, is that they have a standard where everything equals not just the value of the information, but the monetary association. So it's like someone with a Mercury in Taurus might say to their best friend, spouse, child, lover, somebody, "Oh, you're going to school for that? Okay. How much does that cost?" Not seeing or not valuing how excited that person is about the studies they're about to engage in. Instead, the focus is on, I don't know if I would value that. I don't know if I would do that. Oh, here's a thing. I knew someone once a long time ago who, when their child entered college 20 years ago, they sent them, and they went away. The kid went away to college. The person with the Mercury and Taurus sent the child a picture of the check that was written for their first semester, and had it blown up to poster size as a reminder that this is what they are about to face if they don't measure up, if they don't create the value system or standard of the person with the Mercury and Taurus who wrote the check. I mean, that was outrageous to me. That was kind of extreme, but practical, conservative, and a person with a Mercury and Taurus will resist the process until they get more familiar with the ideas. So keep that in mind. If you are Mercury in Taurus, do something new every day. Just try a new food, or think a new thought, or listen to a different type of music. And that can help to broaden your horizon so you feel safer and more secure, so that you can value the information. Okay, moving on. I hope this is helping. Let's see. What do we have? Anybody else? Kate, Mercury in Leo. Ooh, we'll get there. Okay, Mercury in Gemini is a natural placement. Why? Because in astrology, a Gemini is guided, governed, or ruled by, depending on the word you want to use, Mercury. Mercury guides Virgo and Gemini. Now, the difference between those two is that Gemini is an air sign, Virgo is an earth sign. So the analytical process is expressed differently, or thought of differently, or processed differently. So a person with a Mercury in Gemini is very rapid fire, will listen to your words and edit them in their head, and then come back to you with what you've just said in a different way. And you go, wow. Okay, my husband has a Mercury in Gemini. When we watch a show, and he's a writer, and so am I, but different kind. He's a marketing expert and a copywriter, and he understands the psychology behind the trigger points and what helps people to, as he would say, get you to buy a product. Now, and it's not just about the sale, because he has very strict standards on what he would sell. So a person with Mercury in Gemini has to really believe in what they're believing until they don't realize what they're saying. So, as an example, a person with a Mercury in Gemini might say, yeah, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Like my husband used to say all the time, I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'll sleep when I'm... So it's like they could get to a place of believing something, and then that's the belief. And anyone else will cause a kind of like Taurus, but not, cause a distraction. It's like a disturbance in the field. And they're like, wait, what? Wait, what? So it's like a stop sign goes up. I don't know what you just said to me. And then they get upset about it. It's like, wait, huh? Wait. So when you're approaching, if you have a Mercury in Gemini or you're approaching with someone who has a Mercury in Gemini, make sure you have your facts in a row before you disseminate information, before you come out and go, oh yeah, I read about this thing, or you could, chew on garlic and it helps do this thing. Why is that? Yeah, I really don't remember. Well, okay. It's incomplete. Mercury in Gemini wants the data. They're excited about the data. They have rapid fire synaptic experience in their brain, and they flow with ideas. My husband's business, he's a Cancer, but his sun sign is Cancer, but his Mercury in Gemini came up with the name for his business, which is One Big Idea. And it's not just one, it's like a million big ideas in 30 seconds. So sometimes distracted, however. And when Mercury in Gemini person is perceiving, they are thinking about what they're thinking about to the nth degree, and they can narrow focus so much they won't give it up like a dog with a bone. I'm going to fix that tech issue. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to fix that car. I'm going to change the thing. I need the right screwdriver. And when they do, they don't communicate what they're doing because they're so in it. So again, we want to broaden the horizon, step back a little bit and say, Mercury in Gemini, you're so quick-witted. You're so funny. They have like synaptic fire, like nobody's business. And the thing though is it depends on the person and the rest of the chart, but a person with a Mercury in Gemini, they really have the potential to learn, if not by the age of 15, how to articulate a thought so that it is already pre-edited and then delivered with efficiency. And that is a Mercury in Gemini. Or a Mercury in Gemini can be someone who does not stop talking. And they're not feeling their feelings, they're thinking about their feelings. It also depends on their moon sign. So if you have a Mercury in Gemini, if you know of anyone with a Mercury in Gemini, the way you might want to reboot your system is not just think about something new, but be physical. Go out and get some exercise. Get your mind off the thing. Because as we know, when you're manifesting something, what happens is you tend to polarize Mercury and Gemini to one thing. It's like, I'm going to do it, got to get it done, got to get it done, got to get it done. And then you forget about the body, or that you haven't eaten, or you're hungry, you're going to eat while you work. So you're not mindful of what your body might need. So you got to take your mind off the thing and step outside. Go ground in nature. I hope that helps and makes sense. Hey, Barbara's here. Mercury in Libra. Ooh. All right. If anybody needs a true diplomat, we're going to call Barbie. We'll get to you. Okay. Mercury in Cancer. Mercury in Cancer. If a person with a Mercury in Cancer might not talk about it, or when they talk about it, it's after the fact, because understanding the feeling is where they need to go first. So it's hard to separate. If you have a Mercury in Cancer or know of someone with a Mercury in Cancer, they have a little bit more challenging struggle time with separating the thought from the feeling, because they're trying to grasp the meaning behind it because they're so enmeshed in the feeling. So when they're wounded, or perhaps when they have an idea about something, it's very much internal first, right? Very much internal. And when they express it, it's not wholly formed. Not that they're brash or rushed like a Mercury in Aries or a Mercury in Gemini, but the Mercury in Cancer individual, wait, where we go? Where are we? Mercury in Cancer individual is, they're more instinctual. and very intuitive with brainstorming, and their mood colors their words. There it is. How they feel in the moment colors their words. So if they're exhausted because they haven't stopped giving to other people or counseling other people or nurturing other people, they will definitely get to that point of going, no, I can't. I'm overwhelmed. But by that time, they've already enacted all that stuff. They've already been to that place. So if you ask them when they're in a bad mood, hey, can you help me? No, I'm so, you know what? I feel like a soccer mom. Mercury and Leo can get to that point too, but they don't. It depends on the sun sign that they have before they express. But Mercury in Cancer is someone who is very empathetic, but may not always show you in the moment you need it. And I'm talking more personal relationships. I knew someone with a Mercury in Cancer who, I think it was 25 years ago, I was going through something really profound. And it wasn't until 6 months later that they said, yeah, I was really worried about you. How come you didn't call me to tell me that? I could have used that information. I needed that support. So if you have a Mercury in Cancer, it's not that you don't care. It's that you care so much. You're thinking about how to help this family member, your clients, your whatever, your neighbors. You're thinking about how to help them so much that you don't always communicate in the moment what they might need and the validation that they might need. Now, some people who have a lot of Cancer in their chart will do more of that. If you have a lot of fire or water in your chart and you have a Mercury in Cancer, if you have a lot of fire and air in your chart and you have a Mercury in Cancer, you might be prone to speaking. Oh, you need help? You need a cup of tea? What do you need? What can I get you? And then later on, process the feeling of that person and your own feeling. Okay, so it's actually a combination. Depends. If you've got a lot of water in your chart or a lot of earth in your chart and you have a Mercury in Cancer, you're someone who is, more artistic, someone who uses the earth, like planting, growing things, nurturing things, baking, as your way of physical support or emotional support. Oh, honey, you look so tired. I'll bake you, a casserole. I hope this is making sense. Let me just check in with people. We have a Mercury in Scorpio, Mercury in Gemini. Oh, yes. Okay, cool. And if you're watching this in a replay or on YouTube, please like, share, subscribe. That hooks into the algorithm, and then it puts my videos in front of more people. Let's take a minute. Okay, moving on. Mercury in Leo. Okay. You have a lot of creative ideas. You're positive. You can be opinionated, but again, that depends on the other elements in your chart. And your opinions might just matter only to you with your inner circle, or not just matter, but you might only express yourself to your inner circle. When all is said and done, let's say you go to a wedding or a barbecue or something and you're engaged, you're talking, you love it. You love to hear what other people are doing. You love to think about, I want to do something that makes me feel so creative, so passionate about something. I want to go, I want to travel. I want to learn about something. I want to apply my knowledge or my sense of self to how I can create that piece of artwork or that music or a poem or be with kids. I want to be with kids. I want to talk to kids. I want to teach kids. I want to nurture them. So a Mercury in Leo can be very magnanimous, very energetic. It also depends on the rest of the chart, but they can also be someone who does not stop whining about didn't get it. They're not enough. I can't believe it. I told them I was a vegan and I went to the thing and they had beef. I don't eat beef. It's like, so the Mercury in Leo can polarize very quickly, especially if something like an idea comes in or experience comes in that rejects their core beliefs, like, literally, and they might be that dramatic, like, why is she wearing that color? Oh my God, I need sunglasses, But again, the person who is the Mercury in Leo, first and foremost, wants to be part of it. Where are you going? I haven't slept in 4 hours, but I haven't slept all night, but I want to go. I'll go with you. I'll take a ride. So there's exuberance there. There's this feeling of helping others with a creative vision. And you might come to someone who, this is a perfect scene. Okay. This is a perfect scene. Oh no, that would be a Mercury in Libra. Okay. There is one of my favorite movies is About Time with Rachel McAdams and Domhnall Gleeson. And it's such a wonderful film. Please watch it. About Time with Rachel McAdams. And I often recommend it to a lot of my private clients. And so when you watch this movie, Rachel McAdams has a scene where she's about to go meet with a big client and she doesn't know what to put on. She's exemplifying a Mercury in Leo in distress, and her husband is exemplifying a Mercury in Libra in distress, feeling her distress, trying to help her make a decision about what to wear to meet this client. It makes me laugh so hard. So anyway, Mercury in Leo can be someone who, not the keep up with the Joneses person at all, but that sense of, I know what I know and it's powerful, but they may not always know how to express it or articulate it or feel that it's appropriate. Again, that depends on the rest of the chart. But someone with Mercury and Leo, they are fun. They will take you by the hand and go, yeah, wear that one. Let me see. What's the other one? Put that other t-shirt on. That's the one. So they can be so inspiring for others through their creative process. But when they start to feel wounded or slighted, then what comes out is, ma. So you just want to be aware of that. Okay. I hope that is helping you people. Let's see. Let me just check in real quick. Okay. If anyone is approached on my shows, please don't engage. I'm going to block this person and, they can move on, and we wish them well. Okay. I'm just going to take a moment to block, delete. You see, and this is my Mercury in Aries on the higher end, not to brag or boast, but the mundane is, hey, get off of my cloud. But higher end Mercury in Aries would be, all right, we're just going to adopt the not interested and delete. Kimberly had to go, but is back. And we're so happy that you are. Okay, let me just take a sip. Where are we now? Virgo. Mercury in Virgo. Where are we? Mercury, Virgo. Okay. This is a natural placement. And so the power of analytical assessment is so strong that this person could be a research data analyst by the age of 5. Mom, no. Tell me why we have to go there. And the reasons better be good. Okay. Mercury in Virgo can also be overstimulated with too much thought or input, as can Gemini, but they don't recognize it. They get upset about it and then go, no, stop. Mercury in Virgo is someone who wants to help. They're they like to teach. They like to know, but they're too focused on what if I don't get it right? I don't want to harm anyone, and I'm not perfect. And the word perfect keeps coming up for me with Mercury and Virgo. And I want to share with people who have a Mercury and Virgo that there's no such thing as perfect in the traditional 3D world reality, because you are a sentient, eternal, celestial being. You're already perfect. If you are on a path moving toward joy and compassion and self-reflection so that you can grow and transform, you're already in a state of perfection. That's it. Yeah. Oh, well, that was right or that was wrong might be the terms that a person with a Mercury in Virgo uses. I voted for that person and what they did was so wrong. Okay. Remember, I was you yesterday, I am you today, or I will be you tomorrow. So instead of judging, we're going to evaluate. And a person with a Mercury in Virgo is sometimes very easily influenced by power, and power in the form of he has 6 degrees of separation. No. In biological sciences. I mean, who am I to tell him that my gut feeling is that if you take ashwagandha instead of a sleeping pill, that you can calm down the nerves, but it's an adaptive. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the word. Which Mercury out there could help me think of the word? Gemini, Mercury and Gemini. So a Mercury in Virgo is someone who has to be careful that they're not looking at status, because they can be easily influenced. Again, this is a general reading, folks. It has to do with the combination and the culmination of all the definitions in your chart, not just Mercury. Mercury is how you perceive and what you're expressing. Mercury in Virgo, you're really ready to get to the bottom. You want to find the answer. You're looking for the clues. You make a good detective, by the way, as would Mercury in Scorpio. But Mercury in Virgo, I think it's really important that you have a positive trajectory when you're looking at why do I feel this way. If it's a negative judgment, why do I feel this way? Or if you're dealing with someone who has a Mercury in Virgo, at least shower and put on some clean socks. They will appreciate that. But also articulate in a way that is about I messages, or I just researched this thing, not, hey, you should take that because, it's better. Mercury in Virgo doesn't want to hear what's right or wrong because they already feel too much pressure to be perfect. So what they want is to look for clues in, like you draw them in with, that they love things about, I don't know, dance. They love dancing. They love watching dance. And you say, did you see Dancing with the Stars? So you grab them with that. No, with an interest. And it's like, well, you know what I was thinking? All right, I'm sorry you missed it, but this thing happened. It was really fun. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking that, what would it be like for you to take a dance class? Instead of saying, you should take a dance class, Mercury and Virgo, because, practice what you preach, babe, because that's what they might attract, is to make them right or wrong, because we are who we vibrate. We are who we resonate. So Mercury and Virgo, you want to communicate with them and to yourself, if that's you, that, you know what, I'm going to try something new only because it's fun. And it doesn't matter if I trip, doesn't matter if I, dance as if no one's watching, basically, regardless of the thing that you're about to do or engage in. And then you're going to get so into learning the mechanics behind something that it's going to juice you and give you joy. And then you move into evaluation with your data instead of judgment. Hope that makes sense. I hope that is this helping? Let me check in. I'm so sorry. Hi, Pam. Thank you. Thank you so much. May 3rd. That's the date. even though today's my solar return. I'm very excited. Let's see. Mercury in Libra. Mercury in Libra. Hi. That's beautiful color on you. Oh my gosh, you really care so much. I really appreciate how you organized your plants on that wall. It really brings out the color and the lighting by the wind. It's so beautiful. So Mercury and Libra can't have ugly. They can't talk about ugly. They can't watch, like Freddy Krueger movies. I don't know who can. Well, it's our Hellraiser. But it's more of, let's find the harmony. All right, everybody. You have to be careful of this. If you have a Mercury in Libra, you have to be careful of being the diplomat and everybody's go-between. You're not the mediator. If your husband, wife, spouse, lover is having an issue with that person, it's not your job to be in between and going, all right, everybody, let's come on. Let's play nice. Have some soft music. I made brunch. It's like they will nurture through food and thought, but also harmony. And when they are out of harmony, they are polarized on a thought that they cannot let go of. So a Mercury in Libra is like, no, I read that. I read that article and that's the way it is. And they're not inviting discussion because that would equal argument. And they don't understand that the true definition of an argument is just presenting what you believe is the truth. It's not a fight. So if you have a Mercury in Libra, if you know of someone who has a Mercury in Libra, you want to approach them with a very diplomatic way of speaking, or to yourself, you want to say to yourself, I think I'm judging that person. It doesn't feel good. I know I don't like the way it feels, but I'm thinking that if I see them as someone who's trying really hard, I'll have a better feeling about it, because the Libra person is always looking for a way to negotiate. I have an idea, and I think it's a good money-making idea, but I do need to do the research, says Mercury in Libra. And I do need to think about, how is this going to affect my family if I take this on? What? So they're not always looking at, it's through culinary arts and finances, artistic pursuits, but diplomacy is always at the top of the chain, or controlling and maintaining people's emotions by not engaging. So if you have a Mercury in Libra and somebody's having an argument or a disagreement, or they're just upset emotionally, not with you or anybody else, they're just having a bad hormonal day, and you might just nod a few times and then like hand them a cup of tea, just to keep that feeling that's up. It doesn't feel good. Anything icky to you does not feel good, but you're thinking about, how can I help this person right now to not be so dramatic? That's why I keep thinking of that movie, About Time, with Rachel McAdams who could also represent a Mercury in Libra. I'm sorry, Mercury in Aries or Mercury in Leo. And it's like, what am I supposed to wear? And then the head talk and the head space, and the Mercury in Libra is going, yeah, that's nice. That's a good color. Yeah. And not buying into the trauma of the other person, but yet walking away going, oh my God, that was a headache. I can't do that again. So if you have a Mercury in Libra, I want you to just be mindful of feeling your feelings and not thinking about gee, I feel really upset about that. Well, that doesn't sound upset. It's like, I'm upset. Again, it depends on your moon sign and some other stuff in your chart, but Mercury in Libra, it's okay to get upset. It's not ugly. I know it feels ugly. I know it looks like, the laundry room on fire and your closet is mismatched and everything's on the floor and somebody threw half your shoes away and you can't find the match. Do something that has to do with analyzing finances, a creative pursuit, a culinary pursuit, watching the British baking show. That would calm your mind if you're like an overload, Mercury in Libra. And then always look for harmony within yourself first in your speech, but remember to add your opinion. Some Mercury in Libra folks don't like to give an opinion because they don't want to upset anyone. or they don't want to create melodrama. I hope that makes sense. Is this helping, folks? Let me know. All right, we're moving on to Mercury in Scorpio. Ooh. And suddenly, Mercury in Libra shifting to Mercury in Scorpio, the weather changes. I can hear thunder. There's some dark clouds rolling in, and there's just this feeling of power. I got my eye on you, Mercury in Scorpio. I see what you're doing. My BS meter is ticking, ticking, ticking like crazy. And so Mercury in Scorpio is someone who likes to go to the depths of understanding. They're very obsessive at times of things where they can't let it go. Kind of like Mercury in Taurus, but it's more of a silent process. Run Silent, Run Deep was a good movie. It's Mercury in Scorpio. It's like there's a whole lot of stuff brewing underneath, but Mercury in Scorpio is, yes, in answer to your question, yes. They don't want to give it up if they don't trust you. And the only way they can trust you is by observing your behavior. Who's here? Who said that they were a Mercury in Scorpio? Did someone here say that they were a Mercury in Scorpio? I thought I saw that. We have a Cancer, a Virgo, a Leo. There we go. A Mercury in Scorpio. Now, that's more of the darker side, but the keen intellect of a Mercury in Scorpio is assessing, processing, and then delivering the answer. It is like a Mercury in Gemini, but different. And let me see if I can articulate. Mercury in Scorpio reads between the lines. You get it. You're there to help. You don't always feel the need to talk about it, whatever it is. But you like to investigate. Ooh, see that mystery movie the other night? Oh my gosh, that was amazing. I already know who did it. Second act. By the second act, I had it down. And here's why. So Mercury and Scorpio can be very profound in the depths that they go to understand a thought or a feeling or a situation, but also they can express a lot of nurturing through touch. And it's like, again, run silent, run deep. You see someone, if you have a Mercury in Scorpio and you see someone that you care about, or even people you don't know, it's like, what are those people? Where's the homeless shelter? I need to talk to somebody. And then you gather information and you don't always feel the need to tell everybody about it. But you like to help. I mean, you're there to serve because you're observing the situation and you have this sense of what could be and the profound changes that someone can make, a transformation that someone could make based on your observation, which is usually very keen. So if you've got a Mercury in Scorpio, when you get angry, it's important that you feel your anger and that you express it in an articulate way instead of going passive aggressive. That's important. That would be the beginning of passive aggressive. Because, the Scorpio energy is all about transformation, and a Scorpio individual, excuse me, can cut somebody out just like that. Nope, done. Moving on. So a Mercury in Scorpio can also go to that place of, did they just say that to me? Okay, yeah, done. But then you'll go and brood and feel it profoundly and say, why would they say that to me? And so there's a lot of anger that can be behind the scenes if you have a Mercury in Scorpio. But if that, again, that depends on the rest of your chart and especially your moon and the relationship to Mercury. How do you express yourself? First, you're perceiving it. Remember that, folks. So you're not easily deceived, Mercury in Scorpio, but you can get to the bottom of something in a way that is very, nobody knows what's going on in your headspace. while you are searching for the answers and observing the whole scene. You look at the whole picture, and that's a very cool thing. I don't think I know anybody personally with a Mercury in Scorpio. Oh, yes, I do. I used to. An attorney. Mm-hmm. And fit their way of speaking. They would ask one or two questions and wait to gather information and then put it together and then come this way when the person who is assumed to be guilty wasn't looking and go, oh, but you said this. It's like that scene in Legally Blonde when she's talking to the woman on the stand who had the perm, and she knew, Elle knew, I wouldn't put her out of Mercury and Scorpio, but could be, but Elle knew that the woman on the stand was like, yeah, no, I was taking a shower when, that person was killed. She's like, but you just got a perm. Everybody knows that we don't take showers when you have a perm. Guilty as charged. So it's like the way you gather intel is very fascinating, but nobody knows until you come out and say what it is. And so good detective, good mystery writer, a good organizer and planner for the group, Mercury and Scorpio. All right, moving on to Mercury and Sagittarius. I'm sorry that these are upside down. Anyway, it is what it is. Almost went into a Scottish accent. All right. So, what do we have? Mercury in Sagittarius. When does the train leave? We should be on it. Let's go now. Not for another day. That's okay. We can stay at a hotel. Let's find someplace cool to stay, like an Airbnb that's shaped like a hobbit house. That is a Mercury in Sagittarius. And also very skeptical. No. Really? I don't know if I believe that, and vocal about their skepticism. So adaptable, yes. A quick intellect, yes. Really loves to learn. Mm-hmm. And is almost musical in the way, that they can piece together information. A Mercury in Sagittarius, where they can orchestrate a thought. It happens like this. It's almost like music. So a musician with a Mercury in Sagittarius can play many instruments because they can hear, while they're playing the piano, they hear a saxophone. So then they start writing music for saxophone. It's the way their brain works as well. So anybody here with a Mercury in Sagittarius, they really sometimes get a little too stuck on the judgy part. And it's like, yeah, I'm not voting for her. Did you see what she did last time? Okay. Well, did you act on any of that information? Did you verify that information? Did you, a Mercury in Scorpio is about to challenge a Mercury in Sagittarius. It's like, no, please. I'm a scientist through and through. Don't tell me that, meditation and prayer change lives, please. Well, I don't know if you had enough evidence. That's a Mercury in Sagittarius on one end. We did go over Mercury in Cancer, so you'll have to listen to the replay. Mercury in Scorpio. Moon in Scorpio with Mercury in Scorpio. Run silent, run deep. Feel those feelings and get the anger out. That's a good way to look at it that way too. Mercury in Sagittarius is someone who can pinpoint the issue, and as long as they are not polarizing on their biases, cognitive bias, it's like, oh no, yeah, I lived in this town for 2 years. You can't get an Uber. You have to go to the next town. Oh, okay. I don't know. Really? Okay. But then you find out you can. So sometimes the vision can be narrow with a Mercury in Sagittarius, even though it's inclusive of, oh my gosh, I just had Indian food yesterday, or I did a Polynesian dance the other day, or actually I got word from someone who has a Mercury in Sagittarius, and they just moved to a different state, and their state of awareness changed because they had this idea. They visited this other place only in 2 seasons. And so the other 2 seasons, they weren't aware of, oh my gosh, I had no idea that it flooded on that side of town. And so you want to open your mind with a Mercury in Sagittarius and look at all angles of possibilities, because it excites you to have information. And that's, I wrote some notes down. You can be candid and direct and tactless, yes, but you're also quick to analyze something and get to the bottom of something, like, that was interesting. I read that thing, or I listened to that podcast, or I took that class, and I don't know if I agree with these points, but that really changed my mind about that. Okay, so they do appreciate new information, but not if it makes them feel less. That's they make good impressionists, people who can mimic other ways, because they're inclusive in so many ways. A Mercury in Sagittarius, very inclusive. They can hear something, see something, feel something, and go, oh, I'm going to put it together. And then they're on stage and they're like, and I spoke like this, and everybody's laughing, going, oh my God, that sounds just like that person. But they don't always embody the belief system or the perception or the underlying emotional sensibility of the information. So that's where they can become candid, a little too tactless sometimes. So if you have a Mercury in Sagittarius, or if you know of someone who has a Mercury in Sagittarius, and their words come out kind of sideways, almost sarcastic, you can approach that right there and go, that sounds a little mean or sarcastic. I would appreciate you not speak to me like that. And that will get their attention. It's like, oh, because they really want to be and are that magnanimous person where they go into the world and they learn. I watch Conan O'Brien go to different countries, and he just cracks me up. I would not be surprised if he had a Mercury in Sagittarius or a Mercury in Cancer. It would. I'm curious to know. I'll have to look that up. But Mercury and Sag overall very enthusiastic, and that means deity on the inside. They are just looking for the next best thing, and it excites them. It makes them feel alive. But sometimes they just assume everybody's going to feel or think that way, so they just don't always understand. Well, how come? Why aren't you doing that? That's not me. Oh, okay. But again, it depends on their moon sign, their sun sign, their rising sign. So Mercury in Sagittarius overall has a really great way of gathering information to bring it to the group. I just tried this energy worker. You have to. Or they know how to tell a joke, or they really appreciate humor. So if you are a Mercury in Sag, go for the laugh, but also open your heart. Mercury in Capricorn, moving on. Mercury in Capricorn. Capricorn energy is very hard on itself. And to speak like someone with a Mercury in Capricorn, you are looking for factual information. You're looking for, first, they're going to come from two places. One, the symbol of Capricorn is the goat with the tail in the ocean. That's sometimes called the sea goat. And that tail is in the mystical world of the Piscean energy. It comes from a place of spirituality and wounds that need to be healed. So if a person with a Mercury in Capricorn sounds blunt, it's because if they let go of how they felt, they might not stop crying for 3 hours. Also, a person with a Mercury in Cap, it doesn't mean they're insensitive. It just means that they're holding back. But a Mercury in Capricorn is also someone who understands complex patterns, and they're very pragmatic people, and they can turn just one thought into a business. Wow, look at that. They're selling hot dogs by the freeway. You know what? I think, like the movie Chef, I think we could get a food truck, fix it up, and we can just start. Let's buy that acreage by the park. In the summertime, yeah, I think that would work. Oh, wow, yeah, okay, yeah. So, the Mercury in Capricorn understands the nature of humanity, basically, and so they can speak to human suffering, human potential. Someone who might be an anthropologist or a theologian, someone who could talk about, and oh, you know what? I wonder if Joseph Campbell, the historian, the mythological historian, he wasn't mythological. His mythologies. He talked about mythologies. I wonder if he had a Mercury in Capricorn, because he would talk so eloquently about different cultures, different than Mercury in Sag, but that sensibility of bringing together the collective to say, look, we're all in this together. You suffer, I suffer. I may not show you that I'm suffering, but I could talk about it in other cultures and other people, or as in being a therapist or a storyteller, an author. I can make music and sing only, like what is her name? Von Bingen. I think she was a 13th century nun, and her music is just beautiful. That can be representational of a Mercury in Capricorn. Notes that just blend in harmony, and you go, wow, that was a beautiful story, even if there were no lyrics. So, but Mercury in Capricorn, really, I want to make sure that you take that complex awareness that you have and apply it to healing your heart. Apply it to how you can let go of something without just saying, well, that's what it was. And yeah, that's what it was. You cannot change the past, but you can change the feeling you carry with you. So if you are a Mercury in Capricorn, or you know of someone who is a Mercury in Capricorn, the way you can get their attention is not by being overly emotional, but by being very articulate and loquacious and poetic in your speech. They'll just melt in your hands. Okay, moving on. Is this helping? I got to take a sip. Is this helping? I'm hoping this is helping. And stick around, because I want to share something. We have 2 more signs left. Let me do that. Mercury in Aquarius. I want to know what planet you came from. I really do, because I probably was there in another life. And we could hold hands and skip, says my Mercury in Aries. I totally get you. Mercury in Aquarius. This is someone who we fine-tune the Mercury in Capricorn that can understand patterns, collective, and make music from it, whether it's storytelling or music. Mercury in Aquarius is the person who invents the technology so that the music can flow, so that the storytelling can be, so that the humanitarian cultures come together instead of clash. Mercury in Aquarius is the person who is trustworthy on one end, right? Because there's always polarity. They're compatible with so many different ideas and expressions. They're curious. They're just curious. Like, yeah, that's really cool. Tell me about that. That's really cool. We could, what? Wait a minute. You just gave me an idea. So Mercury in Aquarius listens to humanity, a friend, a family member, an event, a podcast. They're just doing something in the house and they've got the radio on or the TV on, and they hear something and it gets their attention. And they're like, okay, wow. That I want to learn how to put together a tractor and learn about farming. Or create a medical. I want to create medical or financial systems that can move currency being electricity, wind, water, and finances. So there's something going on. Now, if they're just at home watching TV all day, they're stimulated. They're overstimulated by that. They need that input. Mercury in Aquarius can be someone who always has to have sound around them. The music, TV, radio, podcasts, videos, whatever. Those have to be stimulated by sound, because once it gets quiet, they don't know how to feel. Again, it depends on their moon and their sun and their rising sign. But they get the joke. They're not traditional at all. They're stimulated by unusual things like, look, I grab someone, take them by the hand and go into a jewelry store. and they're a Mercury in Aquarius, and they're looking around going, oh yeah, it's sparkly. That's nice. Look at the lighting that shines below those stones. Can I get behind the counter and take a look at that? It's like, what kind of lighting is that? All right, I'm going to put on a show and I'll be the set director, says Mercury in Aquarius. It's like, but then if they're just the average, guy, gal person, they need stimulation. So they look for it in having a lot of different kinds of friends so that they can have a lot of different types of conversation. Now, it doesn't mean that it's constructive. It doesn't mean that it's positive or negative. It's just a constant flow of energy. To take that, harness that potential of Mercury in Aquarius means they're going to be the first to learn AI and what to do with it. And they're going to quell all the groans and grudges of they're going to take jobs. It's going to, when we went from the plow to the tractor, from the bicycle, from the horse to the bicycle to the car, those were the same complaints, probably from Mercury in Capricorn or a Mercury in Taurus fixed on, I don't know, what's that going to look like? But a Mercury in Aquarius is like, we got to move. We got to make it move. It can move. It can help. It can supply the world with what we need. A waterfall. All right, let's build, like a cistern, someone says in Rome in the year 12, so that we can get water to the people. That's a Mercury in Aquarius. And they're curious. And sometimes they are Spock-like in their communicative style. Fascinating. That's interesting. Where did you hear that? Wow, that's outrageous. And so they like to be startled by outrageous news or, oh, really? Really? And it's not for chatter. It's because it stimulates their brain. It stimulates their neurons and their nervous system. And so is anybody here Mercury in Aquarius? Anybody? Nope. Okay. They also get the joke. Like you could be the most obscure stand-up or a playwright or an author or a musician. Like Brian Eno would not be surprised if he had a Mercury in Aquarius. Hearing the sound before it's created. Hearing it, seeing it, hearing it, wanting to put it into the world somehow. The average everyday Mercury in Aquarius really is focused on money. And how can I make money with that? What can I do with that? Hey, Kathy's here. Bitcoin, Hex, crypto. I want to research that. That fascinates me. What can we do with that? Maybe I could become a day trader. Maybe I am a day trader, Mercury in Aquarius says. Or maybe I could really get juiced by, plugged in to meditation and go into the quantum field. Mercury in Aquarius really can hear sounds that we have not expressed on this earth yet. Kimberly says, Mercury in Aquarius. That's interesting. So the ideas may be out of left field, but you go, wow, where'd you come up with that? That's pretty cool. Or they may look and present themselves as dispassionate. Like, okay, yeah, I heard you were in a car accident. Dude, that's rough. Right. Going down to the thing to do something new. You want to come? You need help? I'll change your tire. What do you need? So it's not that they are devoid of emotion. It's just that their expression is curiosity. Oh, wow, that happened? Okay. Huh. They're trying to think about how they feel about it. Mercury in Aquarius. But they like non-traditional things. So if you are someone with a Mercury in Aquarius, and again, let me just point it out, Mercury in Aquarius. If you are someone, you're on the cusp of creating something that an industry, your community, your family, even you can use. It's like, creating that medical device that alerts you to when, you've eaten too much sugar or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, wow. Yeah, they want to invent something. And it can be a relationship that stimulates them. It doesn't have to be a gadget. It doesn't have to be, $1 million, although they are drawn to wanting to make money or fascinated by people who do. So that stimulation by non-traditional might lead them to reading books on inventors or the Wright brothers, or, look at this country down in Chile. There's this person who, took a dead trees and mulched it, mixed it with the thing, and then grew a different kind of thing. So it's like the science mind, the meticulous mind, the analytical speech is there. Also the potential for new on this planet. That's pretty cool. A Mercury in Pisces. Okay, we're switching gears. Passions can overrule logic. I wrote that down a couple of years ago, and then I'm looking at my notes, and I wrote that down a couple of years ago. And then I met many people with Mercury in Pisces, and I've used this example before when talking about a Pisces sun, rising, or moon sign, but I'm going to add Mercury in Pisces to this. When a Mercury in Pisces person is looking at an ancient edifice, you're in Rome, you're in Italy, France, somewhere, Greece, and you're looking at the architecture and you're going, oh, I wonder what it was like for what it's like. The building's on fire. Come on, wonder later. It's like, so they kind of get lost in their thoughts and what they're thinking. So it lends themselves to being very creative, very metaphysical, and or very cynical. Like, I don't believe that. That's scary. No, if you start meditating, you're going to let demons in. And it's like, well, if you have a religious background, Mercury in Pisces, you might feel small. But the moment they can balance the feeling with the thought, and they don't let their passion go to places that are not grounded fully in some kind of, well, that's a beautiful thought, but what do you want to do with that thought? Oh, I don't know. Okay. But we do have to make money and pay bills. So, Mercury in Pisces, you have a healing vibration. You might become a singer, an artist, an actor, a musician. You might be someone who works volunteer, and you can speak the speak that helps other people, that soothes other people. Or you might be someone with a Mercury in Pisces who is very intuitive, and you hear things, but your job then is to then articulate and not get lost in the ethereal. Okay, I have something in my eye. And a lot of times, a person with a Mercury in Pisces feels the need to validate their feeling by studying the possible solutions so that when they are speaking, that they feel like they're not going to be put down or minimized or invalidated somehow. So they don't always talk about how they feel or what they're thinking until they have amassed data, but not in the way that other Mercury and other signs might. They might do it in a way that is heartfelt, poetry, again, authorship, writing something, utilizing their ability to feel in order to negotiate better with a client or a potential vendor. So they could have hard-hitting cardinal, fixed energy in their chart. They're a Scorpio, they're a Taurus rising, but they have a Mercury in Pisces. They know how that person feels. And the best way to negotiate in any relationship, we negotiate everything. We negotiate what we're going to wear, what the weather is, how we eat. We're going to negotiate with our employees, our employers, our coworkers, our kids, our family. We negotiate everything. But a Mercury in Pisces will look for their feeling, the intuition about that person, that situation, and that's where they come from. So they're a great diplomat in a way that they empathize. So Mercury in Pisces can empathize like nobody's business and be a really great nurse, a caregiver, psychologist, someone who can relate to the information and then give advice that is articulate and very appropriate for the person. Now, if you're someone with a Mercury in Pisces and you just feel lost all the time, it's important to get grounded and to take care of your body as much as your intuitive hits or your intuitive leanings. I hope that makes sense. Let me see what else is in my notes. I think I covered that. Oh, on the downside, Mercury in Pisces can be really cynical. And so they don't share who they are because they don't want to be caught out not knowing something, or they don't want to open their hearts as much. But once a person can really express themselves and learn about intimacy, into me you see, then a Mercury person in Pisces is someone who has a really great grasp on the needs of the individual. Just put that on yourself too, if that's you, and look in the mirror and go, what do I need today? I need 5 minutes. Well, then take it. Give that gift to yourself. And I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised and really appreciative because you're a grateful person. Mercury in Pisces, Pisces is very grateful. Even if they're not communicating that or expressing that, you may never know how they actually really feel, depending on the rest of their chart. If they have a lot of water in their chart, they might tell you how they feel in the moment for a brief moment. Yeah, I like that. Or that's beautiful. But care to expound on that? Mercury in Pisces? They may not. So it's up to you if you know someone with the Mercury in Pisces, or if you are that person and you want to be part of the group and not sitting on the aisle of misfit toys. You want to be able to not just empathize, and that's like your bag of candy. It's like you hold the bag that has the candy in it because you know people want candy, and they can come to you when they feel a certain way, and you can help to solve their problem. But it works both ways. Mercury in Pisces, you must express yourself in a way that is vulnerable without fear of harm. And you'll find that the vibration that you output is what you're getting back. So if you love and care for and nurture yourself even more, you will also then attract people who will do the same for you. That was like speed dating. Okay. So I hope this was helpful for folks. What I wanted to share with you, and come back next week, I think I posted it in Facebook on my astrology channel, AstrologyMojo channel, and that is that we're going to be talking about different planets, the inner planets first, through the signs like we did today. So I don't know what's up for next week. It's either going to be Venus or Mars, but through the signs, so that you can come back and piece together a little bit of what your chart might look like and who you might be while you're being. So every year I gift myself a reading from someone that I might see on Instagram or basically YouTube. And a lot of the readers that I like and follow, they don't give personal readings, or if they did, I got them a long time ago. And so I look for new people. And so I found someone, and her tag is Wild Pearl Tarot. And she is going to be my gift to myself today after I'm done with this. So I just wanted to tell you and share her information. Go check her out, watch her videos for the signs and the tarot and what she expresses and how. And this is her link if you're interested. Yeah, I think that's her link. Yeah, it is. So, and she's awesome, and I'm excited because she has great wisdom from what I've heard just in general. And I'll listen to different signs, not just my sun and rising or moon. I listen to friends' signs, so that, the cross-watching bit. And Wild Pearl Tarot has a way to articulate the sensibilities. And plus, I love when her cats come by, or her cat comes by and tries to get in the picture. But that's my gift to myself. And I urge you to go check her out on YouTube and see if you like her, and then you can get a reading too. All right, folks. Whew. Hope this was helpful. Thumbs up, Share, like, subscribe, whether you're watching this in a replay or live now on YouTube or on Facebook. It helps the algorithm so that it puts my information in front of more people. And that's how we can help the world a little at a time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I'm very excited to be me and 64 tomorrow. Yay! Still here, still kicking. It's been a ride, right? Okay, folks, thanks for being here. I'll see you next week. Please come back and we'll talk about, oh, wait, let me come here. We'll talk more about what can help you, whether it's energy work, the new transformational astrology that I practice and teach, or how you can empower yourself by utilizing what you came here with. You're so powerful. You're so powerful. Much love to you. Thank you. And as always, I wish you peace, and I'll see you next time.